Hey guys, this is Jack Pittis and Matt Korich. We're the co-founders of PK Cyber Solutions. And today we're going to show you how hackers use brute force attacks to gain access to the systems. For those who don't know, a brute force cyber attack is when the hacker will submit a bunch of password combinations in an attempt to breach an account. For the purpose of today's presentation, Matt is going to brute force breach into a WordPress website using a dictionary attack. Dictionary attack is when, using an automated process, the hacker can submit 1.4 million combinations of the most common passwords to gain access. Now, the reason we chose WordPress as our target is because we know that there are a lot of small businesses out there that use WordPress. So we'll kind of show you what it looks like from the hacker's point of view and then some ways you can mitigate this risk. We created a dummy website for the presentation, but I changed the credentials to a different username and a common password that Matt does not know. So Matt, you can go ahead and take over.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. So for security purposes, we're not going to show you how to configure the tool or anything. It is very easy to configure and took probably less than 15 minutes again. So like Jack said, we're going to, be trying to break into his account. And he created a username and password that I don't know. So the first step to this process is to figure out that username. The way we're going to do that is kind of by enumerating, or looking at these files and trying to enumerate his username from these files that are stored on this WordPress website. So we're going to use that. We're going to do that by using the tool and a command that comes with this tool. And essentially what it does is, again, just looks at files that are stored on this WordPress website and looks for stuff that looks like usernames. So I already ran this and you can see down here. So this is my username that I used to create the website. And this is Jack's username that he created when he created a new username for this demo. So once we have his username, what we're going to do is try to guess his password through that dictionary. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to run one more command and it's going to start the tool again. And what's going to happen is it's going to take that username and essentially try to guess the password based on the list that we give it. So you can see down here, it's trying Jack89731 with, these are all passwords that are in that list. So what it's doing is it opens a list and just checks password 1, password 2, password 3, until hopefully there's a match.
Now, Matt, what's the range of time that it could take for something like this?
So it really depends. It depends on multiple things. Your password complexity. If you're using a common password, they usually put the most common passwords up at the front of the list. So if you're using a common password, it could be within like 5 to 10 seconds. If you're using a kind of a, more strengthened password, it could be, hours to break. And if your password's not even in this list, it will never even find it. But there's other password lists out there. So, it's always good just to use strong passwords that are at least 8 characters. And as you can see on my screen, it actually found, a password for this. It looks like it's for Jack7 for 89731. He just used password 123. So now that we have that, let's see if we can log into the console and see if it actually worked. Share. Okay, and then, so we're at the console now. So we're gonna enter his username, Jack, and then it was password 123, and let's see if we can get in. It's not now. Okay, so now we're in the console of the website. This is pretty dangerous because from here we can do anything we want. We can add users. We can actually delete my account if we wanted to and lock me completely out of the website. Other things we can do is we can edit all the pages, add new pages, delete pages, add content, media, make, post. Worst case scenario is, one of the worst case scenarios is that they can just completely take the website down and lock you out completely so you can't get it back up unless you go through your hosting provider, which could take hours or days. So from here, it's not good if an attacker can access this console. Some ways you can, reduce your risk of a brute force attack is ensuring all your WordPress websites and plugins are up to date. There's also numerous plugins that, check for brute force attacks if you configure them correctly. Security plugins that you can use. Other things you can do if you kind of use hosting providers. So an example would be like HostGator. They actually allow you to need to enter 2 passwords to get into this console. That would pretty much not allow any brute force attacks, because you would actually have to brute force 2 passwords as long as you use 2 different passwords. Other things you can do is, implement a firewall that blocks traffic from unknown IPs to enter your console. And kind of last thing, the most common sense thing to do is just use strong passwords and use 2-factor authentication. If an attacker guesses your password somehow and you have 2-factor authentication, they still won't be able to get into your account, because they're going to still need that one-time passcode or the number that is sent to your mobile device. So always use 2-factor authentication when it's offered. WordPress actually offers it through multiple, sources. You can use Google Authenticator. Duo is another one. So it's always good just to have that configured for that extra level of security.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt. So guys, I think, I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, you can always email us at info@pkcybersolutions.com. Or you could visit our website to learn more about our services and check out more media that we do at www.pkcybersolutions.com. So check it out.